Alright, so this is the surprise vid I told you about, E. Um, I did some talking with the rest of the gang, a couple of the other folks in the gang, but we decided that the thing I should do is, well, I'm going to read Chapter 9 of Age of Aquarius, which when we agreed on that, I kind of forgot exactly how long it is. So, well, we'll see how this goes. Okay. Whew. In case you'd forgotten exactly what Chapter 9 was, Miss Author, it's the Aphrodite chapter, which is you yourself called a novella, so let's go here. Every night, as she ran the soft brush through her long hair, Mother would tell her the story. Once upon a time, in a land by the sea, there was a queen who lived in a beautiful palace surrounded by beautiful shells. She ran her kingdom well and had a king who treated her fairly, and she had everything anyone in the highest caste could ever dream of wanting, except for a child. The queen wanted one more than anything, and so did the king. So the queen went down to the boiling sea, where it was told in the ancient stories that miracles could happen, and she spoke to the goddess and the planet Venus. Lady Venus, she'd sometimes interrupt. Planet was a boring title. Lady suited Venus much, much better. Oh yes, thank you for correcting me, yes. The queen spoke to the goddess and to Lady Venus. She asked them if there was any way, any at all, that she could have a child of her own. And she went and asked every day for 77 days. And then, on the last day, a golden comet soared through the sky while she was praying by the sea, and it crashed right into the boiling water. And then, as she watched, the holy geysers sprayed high into the sky, glowing bronze. And she watched the water turn from bronze to the bright orange of a sunset, and all the topaz shells that circled the geyser float up all around it. And then the orange light shot up above the clouds, and she heard all the movement of the morning stop. Everyone turned to look. And in the silence, she heard a baby's cry. That was me! I am getting there, Mother would chuckle. So the queen waited on the docks and watched as the orange light faded, and the sun rose up high above the sea, and she found saw a great big shell breach the surface, and the whole top of it pop off. And when it reached the docks, she peered inside and gasped. That's a tricky word. 'Cause guess what she found? Me! She found a baby girl with hair like the purest gold and eyes as blue as the skies on the clearest night. And she had the mark of Lady Venus on her forehead. So the queen knew right away this girl was very, very special, for she would be the guardian one day. And so the queen picked up the little girl and knew that she was the answer to her prayers, and since she was the most beautiful child on the whole world, she decided to name her Aphrodite. And Aphrodite, Mama would always add after kissing her head, is the best daughter I could ever want. Age of Aquarius, line break thing. Planets don't have favorite things, Father scoffed at dinner when she told him so in between mouthfuls of scallops. A mouthful of scallops. Of course she has favorites, Aphrodite insisted. All right, Father said, raising one of his dark eyebrows. What's its favorite animal, then? He boomed out one of his big laughs. Humans? Aphrodite frowned. No, it's horses. She used to like the phoenixes, but... She shrugged. Lady said we don't have those anymore. Why not? They went extinct, of course. Father shrugged. What's that mean? It means, Mother said, leaning across the table to put more fish on Aphrodite's plate, that they don't live here anymore, and there's no new ones of them. Oh. Aphrodite frowned. Why'd they move away? 'Cause they weren't well suited to the planet, Zeus said. Silly things. We had them when I was young. They could never pick a good spot to build a nest. Oh. Aphrodite looked down at her plate, feeling suddenly like the time one of the page boys had broken her favorite shell. Except she felt as though someone had broken a whole lot more than her favorite shells. "Now why is she angry?" her father asked. "Aphrodite?" her mother asked. "I feel angry," she said slowly. They always told her to explain slowly. "About the birds," she said, "but I don't." She'd felt like this before sometimes, when Nanny yelled at her, or when Father yelled at the servants. She felt other things, too, like when it hadn't rained in a month and a big storm had dumped a whole palace worth of rain on the ground. She felt so clean, but not her, just, "It's like I'm angry, and I know why," Aphrodite said, "but I don't know where it's coming from." Her father raised her eyebrow at her. "Another strange guardian thing, then." "Zeus!" Mother shrieked. "Well, it is strange," Father said, cutting into his steak. He waved the slab of meat at Aphrodite. "There's a simple solution here. If you're not really angry, don't be angry." But I feel it." "Anger," Father said, "is a bad thing to feel." He stared at her with his dark gold eyes. "Especially for a high-case girl like yourself. You'll never get anywhere in life letting your emotions run ragged." And suddenly she felt angry again. A different angry. Not like broken shells angry. More like when the Duke's daughter had told Aphrodite she couldn't have any more candy and then proceeded to eat all of it herself. "Don't look at me like that, Dione," Father told her mother. "I just wonder sometimes if you can hear yourself talk," Mother told Father back. Father slammed his fist into the table and knocked over his chair as he stood up. Aphrodite felt her face growing hot and her body getting tense, like she was about to throw a fit over a broken toy or no dessert, but there was no broken toy, and she'd been promised dessert, and she shouldn't have felt so angry. "I have never," Father said in a calm, cold voice, "let my emotions interfere with the ruling of—" "Stop!" Aphrodite said, standing on her chair. "You're making me angry." "Why?" Father snapped and paused, looking her up and down. "We make you angry." "Yes." It was going away now. She slumped down in her chair. Anger made her so tired. "Interesting," her father muttered. "Well, anyways, you should be practicing conducting yourself in a genial fashion, regardless of how else you want to feel." "So I can't feel sad or happy or silly or scaredy?" Father groaned and held up a hand. "What have I said about questions?" "Dear," Mother said, "why don't I explain to her?" "She is your daughter," Father mumbled. Later that night, brushing out her hair, which had grown a whole 3 inches since summer ended, Mother explained. "We're the highest class," she said to Aphrodite. "That's supposed to mean we're above reacting to certain emotions. The thought is that things like fear and anger and even love can cloud our judgment." "Even love?" "Mm-hmm," her mother sighed. "I understand. I didn't grow up in this caste. It's still hard for me." She finished the braid. "You can feel whatever you feel, Dite," she promised, "but you've got to make sure no one can ever tell." "Is she right?" Aphrodite asked Lady. "I know only what you do about human customs, my guardian," Lady answered. "I do not feel as you do, and when I need to express myself, I have no means of suppression. My volcanoes erupt as my needs dictate, and my earthquakes shake your surface as I feel fit." "Maybe it's different for people," Aphrodite sighed. "Now," Mother said, "what's this about feelings that are not your own?" Aphrodite frowned and looked at her feet, kicking her legs against the chair. "Like, Mimi feels tired and confused. Yeah." Aphrodite pulled away from Mother, half-finished braid hanging over her left shoulder. "But not me feels nervous now, and worried, and warm, and happy. And how can you be worried and happy? And just now, I feel like surprised, bad surprised. Like your face looks," she decided, pointing at Mother. "That kind of surprised."